to bring the lady. The lady. You guys know that I love Hadestown. I've listed it as one of my top 5 musicals that I listen to, that I adore. It's been not a love at first sight, but I definitely grown to love this musical so much, to the point that I am obsessed with it now. Like, look at the shirt. Again, the new program. You know what happened, right? You know what happened. I went to see the original cast in the West End. And this is a pretty big deal. If you have stumbled upon this video and you have no idea what Hadestown is about, then go and check out this video where I'm talking about my first impressions. But if you are a fan like I am, I'm gonna try and share with you at least a little bit of how it felt to be in the room where the original cast has performed once again, and also being surrounded by so many fans who adore this musical. So let's dive in. A few months ago, it was announced that the original 5 members of the cast who were there for the National Theatre production and Broadway production are going to reunite once again in London, in the West End, for 4 weeks. And they are going to be here to also deliver a pro shot of this show, which is super exciting because this means that all of us fans, new and old, are going to be able to see these people who originated these roles perform for us in the comfort of our homes forever. I don't think that there's anything that can match the atmosphere in the live theater, but I'm happy to settle for a pro shot if I'm not able to go and see the original cast. When this was announced, I tried to get my ticket and I was queuing up for about 4 hours, only to be left with like £200 tickets. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna actually give this a miss because tomorrow there's a general sale. This was during the pre-sale. And the thing is that during the pre-sale, when I didn't get these tickets for £200, all tickets were gone and sold out, and there was no point to run a general sale because there were no tickets left. And I really wasn't ready for it, and I was totally left empty-handed. And my only way to get to see the show was to actually check either return tickets or reseller tickets, and that's what I did basically. For a few days, I've been checking the official website a few times. I've mentioned on my channel, I do like resale tickets. Good on-the-day deals are amazing. I have this video here where I'm talking about the best ways to secure good deals. But when it comes to these shows that are super popular, I do find that going to box office and chatting to them on the day is definitely what works really well. But with this show, it was really impossible to see anything on the website. But I was also checking 2 reseller platforms that work for me in the past. One is Ticket Swap, which I have the app for, and the other one is Twickets. Not sponsored by any of these companies, it's just my personal use has proved to me that I can trust these resellers, but you really need to be careful and not put the money that you're not willing to lose into this, because also it can happen that people overcharge you or that they sold a couple of tickets. It is really tricky when it comes to these shows that are really popular, or like concerts and things like that. There are always scammers. Please be aware of it. So I was a little bit skeptical. I wasn't really sure if my ticket is going to work, but I was willing to risk it. I paid £167 for it, which is the most I've ever paid for the ticket. I've never paid so much, but I was like, you know, it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to get a ticket for anything lower than that. But it's also, what's really important is that when I use Ticket Swap, I put my notifications on, and then as soon as I get a notification, I was able to click on it, and I went straight to like buy, and I just bought the ticket that way. And then I saw where I was seated. I was seated in the dress circle, so it was a fantastic view, and I do think that that was the genuine price that this person has bought the ticket for. I was really happy to get into the theater. Everything was smooth. The screenshot that I had on my app from the reseller worked, so it was fantastic. And I think that is the moment when I actually started to understand what is going to happen, and I wasn't really ready for it because as much as I love Hadestown, I only saw it once. As I mentioned in this initial video, I kind of went a little bit on a journey of like understanding and resonating with the musical, and the more I was engaging with it, it made so much more sense that now by the second time I went to see this show, I was so hyped up. But I was hyped up to one level. The rest of the audience was just something that boosted me to the stratosphere of the hype. And this was so apparent in the way the people acted, the reactions that they had when the original cast came on stage. From the first moment when Andrew the Shields came onto the stage as Hermes, the welcome, the ovation, the applause that he received, we all knew that we're in for a treat. It was so much of warmth from him to to the audience, but at the same time from the audience to him. It just felt that everyone is on the same page of understanding how much this show means to so many people, and that we're all here because we share the love for the story and for this production. And you could really feel that they're also happy to be there and to deliver these characters. From the beginning, you are in that like heightened sense of this is going to be so good. And the best thing about it, they delivered. Everyone. Andrew the Shields was a fantastic Hermes. From the moment that he steps on the stage to the very last moment of his performance, he so lives and breathes that character, and Hermes is like such an important part of this story because he's the wisdom of the show, and he delivered it impeccably. Even Blizzada and Reeve Carney have this most electrifying energy on stage, and you can just sense that they understand these characters ins and outs of it, and they understand the love that they feel for each other and how it all happens. And Reeve was so naive as Orpheus, but he's singing, and this positivity about this character is like so contagious that you can't not fall in love with him, because you can see him how pure he is as Orpheus. And then on the other hand, even Blizzada and her fantastic vocals and emotion that she brought to the character of Eurydice, it was really taking me to a place that I almost haven't been to this show before, and it made it such a special watch. And I totally understand why these people have been nominated for various awards for this production, because it is so powerful. Amber Gray, who's playing Persephone, was also fantastic, cheeky and playful, and just really bringing a lot of that energy of spring and also sometimes darkness to the show. So I really enjoyed her delivery, and just like the fact that you're listening to these voices that you're listening on soundtrack and they sound impeccable, they sound the same as they do on the soundtrack. It was a dream come true. One change in terms of the original cast is that Patrick Page, who plays Hades, injured himself, so he wasn't able to deliver the performance when I went to see it, but he will be there for the film performances. And I actually heard a rumor that they're trying to readjust the choreography for him so that he can deliver it, because he can't actually go up and down the stairs. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to happen. But Philip Boykin has been my Hades when I went to see it, and he was brilliant. He was so good, and I wouldn't be otherwise familiar with him as a performer. And it's fantastic that they managed to find him to substitute Patrick Page, because these are the performances where all hardcore fans are going to be there, and you really needed to find someone who can deliver to that character. And the chemistry between him and Persephone and the rest of the cast is great, so I really enjoyed his performance, and it was really good to see him. I'm a little bit gutted I haven't seen Patrick Page, but at the same time I will have the pro shot to look forward to as the rest of you. Seeing this performance has definitely solidified my love and obsession for Hadestown, and I really need to give the biggest shout out to the fans of this musical, because it was so fantastic to see after the show a whole line of people that occupy the whole street queuing up for stage door. There were people passing by on Shaftesbury Avenue turning around looking, they were like, what is going on? And I was like, what do you mean what's going on? It's stage door for Hadestown. From what I could see, you definitely need to stay there for another half an hour to an hour to actually be able to get the autograph and speak to Reeve and Eva. And I really hope that they actually did stage door that night, because it's not something that they're obligated to do. So there were massive crowds of people waiting for them, and it was just so reaffirming to see how many people love the show. And I'm not a person who gets the merch when they go to theater and all of that, but for this show I was like, yes, I do want that Hadestown shirt. I got myself a tote bag, got myself a new program as well, so I can have everything about the original cast members and their like photographs from the production. I am obsessed, and I can't wait for the pro shot. It's going to be one of those that I'm going to watch and repeat, because honestly this show is so special, it's so profound, and I feel it's one of those that every time you go and see it, there's something new that you discover. And oh, I forgot to talk about musicians. Musicians on stage were mind-blowing. They are definitely the unsung heroes of this show. This show is so heavily rooted in delivery of that music and that folk and jazz, and it's just the beat of the show needs to be right, and they were impeccable on the night. I never witnessed audiences staying to listen to the entire outro of the band on stage. It was amazing. Everyone was filming it, everyone was like so keen to see more of them, and massive shout outs go to all of them because they are 50% of the show. I hope that I managed to share with you a little bit of excitement that I felt during this evening, and in a few days after, like, I'm still riding the high of Hadestown, and I'm about to book myself to go and see the new cast in London again. I do think that original cast is super special to see, but the story of the show and the music of this show really make it worth seeing, doesn't matter which cast is it with. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the new UK cast, and if you want to go see Hadestown, you can find way more tickets from like mid-March onwards when the OG cast is done with their performances, so you can book them until September 2025. So I highly recommend that. If you want to know a little bit more about Hadestown and you stayed for this whole ramble without knowing much about the show, then check out this video where I'm talking about my first impressions after I went to see it for the first time.